Do you know the answer? Today, you're about to face 20 questions that will test your knowledge of history, science, language, geography, and some truly surprising facts. Some of them may seem easy at first, but don't be too sure. A few questions in this quiz catch even confident players off guard. From kings with strange habits and ancient number systems, to Viking myths and the incredible length of DNA inside a single human cell. This quiz is full of facts that are strange, fascinating, and hard to forget. Keep track of your score, and make sure to stay until the very end, because there's also a bonus question waiting for you. Ready to test yourself? Let's begin. First question. Which ruler was said to have bathed only twice in his life? Charlemagne, Frederick II, Louis XIV, or Henry VIII? The correct answer is Louis XIV. In the 17th century, many European doctors believed that frequent bathing was actually dangerous. They thought hot water opened the pores and allowed diseases to enter the body. Instead of bathing, Louis XIV relied on perfumes, powders, and frequent changes of linen, sometimes several times a day. His palace at Versailles even became famous for the strong smell of perfumes used to cover unpleasant odors. Second question. Which spice was once used as a chemical weapon? Saffron, chili pepper, cardamom, or cinnamon? The correct answer is chili pepper. When Spanish conquistadors arrived in the Americas, some indigenous people burned large piles of hot chili peppers. The smoke filled the air and irritated the eyes and lungs, creating an effect similar to modern tear gas. This simple trick could force enemies to retreat, proving that even a kitchen spice could become a powerful weapon. Third question. Which fictional character often gets write-in votes in US elections? Donald Duck, Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse, or Superman? The correct answer is Mickey Mouse. In the United States, voters sometimes write a different name on the ballot if they don't like the official candidates. This is called a write-in vote. For decades, one of the most famous unofficial candidates has been Mickey Mouse. Of course, these votes don't count, but election officials still report seeing the famous mouse appear on ballots again and again during major elections. Fourth question. Which month was first in the original Roman calendar? January, February, March, or December? The correct answer is March. The earliest Roman calendar had only 10 months, and the year actually began in March, the month named after Mars, the Roman god of war. This was the time when armies traditionally started their military campaigns. That's also why several month names still reflect numbers from that old calendar. For example, September comes from the Latin word septem, meaning 7, even though it's the 9th month today. Fifth question. Which author believed the FBI was watching him and was right? Jack London, Honoré de Balzac, Fyodor Dostoevsky, or Ernest Hemingway? The correct answer is Ernest Hemingway. Near the end of his life, Hemingway became convinced that the FBI was monitoring him. Friends and doctors thought it was paranoia, but years later, declassified FBI documents revealed that agents had actually been keeping a file on him and tracking his activities, partly because of his connections in Cuba during the Cold War. In other words, Hemingway wasn't imagining it. The FBI really was watching him. Sixth question. Who were the Comprachicos? Body snatchers, secret society, traveling merchants, or child buyers? The correct answer is child buyers. The word Comprachicos comes from Spanish and literally means child buyers. The term became widely known from Victor Hugo's novel The Man Who Laughs. In the story, they were a mysterious group said to kidnap or buy children and deliberately deform them to create performers for traveling shows. Historians still debate whether such groups truly existed or were mostly legend, but the chilling idea made the Comprachicos famous in European literature. 7th question. Where's the famous Bone Church? India, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, or Brazil? The correct answer is the Czech Republic. The chapel is called the Sedlec Ossuary, located in the town of Kutna Hora. Inside, the bones of around 40,000 people have been arranged into decorations, including chandeliers, pyramids, and even a coat of arms made entirely from human skeletons. The reason so many bones ended up there is surprisingly simple. In the Middle Ages, soil from Jerusalem was spread over the cemetery, making it one of the most desired burial places in Europe. 8th question. Which animal is rarely bitten by the tsetse fly? Buffalo, zebra, lion, or antelope? The correct answer is zebra. The tsetse fly is famous for spreading sleeping sickness in parts of Africa, but it almost never lands on zebras. Scientists believe the reason lies in their black and white stripes. The high contrast pattern confuses the fly's vision and makes it difficult for the insect to judge where to land. In fact, some researchers have even studied zebra stripes to design striped patterns that help protect livestock from biting flies. 9th question. What is the predominant religion in South Sudan? Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, or Islam? The correct answer is Christianity. South Sudan became the world's newest independent country in 2011 after separating from Sudan. While Sudan in the north is largely Muslim, most people in South Sudan identify as Christian, along with followers of traditional African religions. This religious difference was one of the many factors that shaped the country's long struggle for independence. 10th question. In which city did the story of Damocles take place? Alexandria, Epirus, Syracuse, or Athens? The correct answer is Syracuse. The story comes from ancient Greece and tells of Damocles, a courtier who envied the luxurious life of the ruler Dionysius of Syracuse. To teach him a lesson, the king allowed Damocles to sit on the throne, but with a sharp sword hanging above his head by a single horsehair. The message was clear. Great power often comes with constant danger. That's why today the phrase, the sword of Damocles, is used to describe a threat that is always hanging over someone. 11th question. What is a miser known for? Being foolish, being generous, being arrogant, or being stingy? The correct answer is being stingy. A miser is someone who is extremely reluctant to spend money and often hoards wealth. One of the most famous misers in literature is Ebenezer Scrooge from Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol. His name even became part of everyday language. Today, if someone is called a Scrooge, it usually means they are unusually tight with money. 12th question. Where do wombats live in the wild? Poland, Australia, New Zealand, or Canada? The correct answer is Australia. Wombats are sturdy, burrowing marsupials native to Australia, but they are famous for something truly unusual. Their droppings are cube-shaped. Scientists believe this strange shape helps the droppings stay in place instead of rolling away, which is useful because wombats often use them to mark their territory on rocks and logs. 13th question. Where were Arabic numerals actually invented? Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Greece, or India? The correct answer is India. The number system we use today, including the digits 0 through 9, was developed by Indian mathematicians more than 1,500 years ago. One of their most important ideas was the concept of 0 as a number, which completely changed mathematics. Arab scholars later adopted this system and introduced it to Europe through trade and scientific texts. That's why we call them Arabic numerals, even though their true origins are in India. 14th question. Which city is known as the City of Arabian Nights? Tehran, Cairo, Baghdad, or Istanbul? The correct answer is Baghdad. Many of the most famous stories from 1001 Nights, also known as Arabian Nights, are set in the legendary city of Baghdad, including tales about the Caliph Harun al-Rashid and the adventures of merchants, travelers, and thieves. During the Islamic Golden Age, Baghdad was one of the richest and most advanced cities in the world, filled with libraries, markets, and palaces, which is why it became the magical backdrop for so many of these unforgettable stories. 15th question. How long is the DNA in a single human cell? 2 millimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 meters, or 2 kilometers? The correct answer is 2 meters. Inside almost every cell of your body is a nucleus only about 6 micrometers wide, yet it contains DNA that would stretch to about 2 meters if fully unraveled. All of that genetic information is tightly coiled and packed into structures called chromosomes. If you placed the DNA from all the cells in a human body end to end, it would stretch billions of kilometers, far beyond the distance from Earth to the Sun. 16th question. Which continent is closest to Antarctica? Australia, South America, Africa, or Eurasia? The correct answer is South America. The southern tip of South America, near Cape Horn in Chile and Argentina, lies only about 1,000 kilometers, around 600 miles, from Antarctica across the Drake Passage. Because of this short distance, most expeditions and tourist ships traveling to Antarctica depart from the city of Ushuaia in Argentina, often called the southernmost city in the world. 17th question. What is the common myth about Viking helmets? They were made of gold, they were never worn in battle, they were made of wood, or they had horns? The correct answer is they had horns. In reality, historians have found no evidence that Viking warriors wore horned helmets in battle. Real Viking helmets were usually simple iron caps designed for protection. The famous horned image actually became popular in the 19th century, especially after costume designers used horned helmets in productions of Richard Wagner's Viking-themed operas. Since then, the myth has spread through movies, cartoons, and pop culture. 18th question. Lake Balaton is located in which country? France, Denmark, Austria, or Hungary? The correct answer is Hungary. Lake Balaton is the largest lake in Central Europe and is often called the Hungarian Sea. In summer, its shores become one of the most popular holiday destinations in the region, with beaches, sailing, and famous vineyards nearby. The lake is also surprisingly shallow, in many places only about 3 meters deep, which allows the water to warm up quickly and makes it perfect for swimming. 19th question. What is a mathematical statement accepted without proof? Theorem, axiom, hypothesis, or lemma? The correct answer is axiom. An axiom is a statement that mathematicians accept as self-evidently true, without needing proof. These basic truths become the foundation of entire mathematical systems. For example, in Euclidean geometry, one famous axiom states that through any 2 points, there is exactly one straight line. From simple assumptions like this, mathematicians are able to build thousands of complex theorems and discoveries. 20th question. Mogadishu is the capital of which country? Yemen, Somalia, Guinea, or Papua New Guinea? The correct answer is Somalia. Mogadishu is one of the oldest cities on the East African coast. For centuries, it was an important trading port linking Africa with merchants from Arabia, Persia, and India across the Indian Ocean. Today, despite a difficult modern history, Mogadishu remains the political and economic center of Somalia, and one of the most historically significant cities in the Horn of Africa. And now, the bonus question. What has keys but can't open locks? A map, a piano, a book, or a skeleton? How many did you get right today? Write your score and your answer to the bonus question in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next quiz. Stay curious and have a great day. See you in the next quiz!